Welcome to the Post 2 frequency system, user Canis Ru. Please enter action into prompt. Play audio file recording 10.wave. Playing audio file now.
Hello, whoever is listening, and welcome to Arroyo State University radio show. I am Tawny Jackson, your occasional host, and I'm here to bring you another episode of Bad Talk Show Radio. Good Lord, I'm tired, y'all. It's been a few weeks since I've been able to get into the studio. Midterms and my asthma have been murdering me, so I didn't really have the time to record until this afternoon. So I decided to make the walk up to the tower to record. With that, I thought it would be a good idea to update you on what's been going on in my life. It hasn't just been school and my health keeping me occupied these past few weeks. So, Michael's condition hasn't improved any in the past few months like they had hoped he would, and the hospital decided to transfer him to one of those long-term care facilities out of the state. So, last week, I spent a day with him before they moved him. I think it may be the last time I see him for a very long time. As you can probably tell, I'm not very happy about this, but what can I do? I have no control over what happens to him. His fate is in the hands of the state, sadly. The only thing I do have control over is how I react to this. And I am choosing to focus on better things and better thoughts. Which brings me to today's actual topic. This is the last episode of me talking about them, sharing with you all who they truly were, so you and I can all keep them in our memories and thoughts, because it's what they deserve, at least. So today, we're finally going to be talking about Michael. To a majority of the students and staff at ASU, he was a hardworking, if somewhat private man. He was admired for his persistence and dedication to his research. But that was where it stopped for most people. Most didn't know him like I knew him. I knew him as the person who taught me almost everything I know. From practical skills to valuable life lessons, Michael was a teacher of a different sort. He cared so much about me that he wanted to make sure I would always be prepared for whatever came my way. And so I am, I think. Well, okay, I guess it might be better if I explained from the beginning. So my father was a teacher for an elementary school in Dahlonega, where I grew up. And Mike was just a regular professor at ASU at this time. I think I was around 5 when this happened. I had just started kindergarten. So Mike would often volunteer to do special lessons at my elementary school. And oh boy, what a first meeting we had. So I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but Michael is an animal specialist, which means he would sometimes bring in animals to his special lessons. And this time, he brought in a snake. And 5-year-old Tawny, well, she really liked snakes. So much so that even though the kindergartners were not supposed to be at this special lesson because many thought it would be too scary for them, I snuck out of my class to go see the snake after hearing my dad talk about it. So I've snuck out, and I'm hanging at the back of the crowd of 4th graders who are all much taller than me, and I can't see very well, so I don't notice that my father isn't on stage with Mike at that moment like he usually would be. This is because my teacher had noticed me missing and had called him to ask if I was with him, so he was backstage flipping out. While this is happening, Mike gets to the point of his lesson where he asks if anyone wants to hold the snake. Unsurprisingly, no one really raised their hands. Well, except for me. So I get called up to the stage, and I am very excited. This day had just gone from good to great. Now, even at the age of 5, I had already held many snakes before, but it always seemed to frighten my parents when I did this, and I never got to hold them for longer than a second or two before they were snatched away from my grasp. So being told by an adult that I could hold this snake, the biggest snake I had ever actually seen in my life, filled me with a great amount of joy. So I've made it to the stage, and then Mike, who has never met me before, thinks, this is a really small 4th grader, and then hands the snake off to me while asking, "Hey, nice to meet you. Can you tell me your name and how old you are?" I respond with Tawny Jackson, and I just turned 5. His face, it just sort of contorts into a smiling grimace, and he utters a small, "Oh," because he realizes he's just handed off a large snake to the 5-year-old daughter of his friend, who is still currently flipping out backstage. But instead of freaking out himself, he has a wonderful idea and calls out for my father to come on stage, because he has a surprise for him. And so, my father, completely exasperated, comes on stage, looking like he wants to scream. It is at this moment that Mike turns his back to my father, and without so much as a warning, picks me up under my arms and Lion Kings me into the air and turns to show me to my father, saying, "Look who I found!" Mind you, I'm still holding the snake as well. So it's Mike holding me in the air while I myself am holding a snake above my head. Let's just say that my father looked as though he may have had a heart attack at that very moment. And so that began Mike and I's odd friendship / mentorship, I guess. My father was quite upset with both of us, but I think that it was a great moment in my childhood. My mom thought it was funny too, even though I did get scolded a good bit afterwards. See, Michael, even though he was an academic, first and foremost, well, it didn't mean that he had to fall into the stereotypes that people in his career typically do. Yes, he was constantly devoted to his research and teaching, but he was also very involved in the lives of the people he cared about. He cared about us, my family, his family, us. He took care of Timothy, June, and I when we were the only ones on campus. He was a good man. He didn't deserve what happened to him. None of them did. I keep saying this, but it's not fair. People on campus, they keep spreading awful rumors about what happened, like they have no respect for the suffering that these people went through. They say that it was his fault because his research made him do something dangerous. They think that he caused Timothy and June's death, chasing some half-brain scheme or something. I've seen the research they were doing. It was safe. They don't know jack shit about what they're talking about. Michael would never put them in danger knowingly. He is a good man. He may have cared deeply about his research so much that he forgot himself sometimes, but never to the point that he would put it above his or someone else's safety. I just wish they would shut up. They don't know him. And no one knows what truly happened, so there is no point in theorizing something that doesn't even matter anymore. All that matters at this point is whether or not he's even going to wake up. God, I just keep seeming to get worked up in these episodes. I'm really frustrated with a lot of things lately. I just can't seem to catch a break from this life of mine. I've been sort of ill again. My doctor is kind of worried, but I think I'll be fine. My research is stagnant too. Nothing's been showing up on the game cameras, and some of the half-decent footage I managed to pull gets corrupted every time. It doesn't help that the restrictions they've placed on my project have made it nearly impossible to get any valuable data. And then there's also the fact that a large amount of my research notes were destroyed by that asshole a couple weeks ago. But at least they haven't tried anything since. And if they ever do, I just don't think I can take much more of this. I'm very tired. And I have every reason to be. I just need to get through the rest of this semester. I think that, well, they asked me to man the tower again this summer. Despite everything that happened last summer, I think I'm gonna take the offer. So hopefully, there will be plenty of episodes when that time comes. But as for right now, I guess this is as good a place as any to stop talking. Thanks for listening to me talk for God knows how long today. I hope you, whoever is listening to this, has a good night. This is Tawny Jackson, signing off. Bye, I guess.
Action Play audio file recording 10.wave has been completed. Please enter next action into prompt. End session. Ending session now. Thank you for using the post 2 frequency system, user Canis Rue.